Yes, yes, yes. Peace, family. What's the word? The boy Sila Shalom in the building. You know how we do. It's a blood clot vibes. Yes, family. What's the word? I'm outside. Let's run the rhythm.
Jehovah is as near this day as in the time of the ancients.
Yeah.
Put yourself in order, becoming one with him. And no book is so easily read as his created universe. Inspiration comes less by books than by what Jehovah wrote. His worlds read him and his works. Frame your speech and your thoughts for him. He will answer you in your own behavior and in the happiness of your soul. Great wisdom cannot be attained in a day, nor purity and strength to overcome temptation, till the growth is from the foundation. The fool will say, the sacred books are no more than man of his own knowledge could write. Yet he has not wisely imitated the power of the words of your God. Let him do this well, and behold, he will also declare my words are constitutionally capable of receiving and comprehending the highest life, and that they shall no longer depend upon any priest, church, oracle, holy book, or upon consulting the spirits, and that their behavior may make the earth a place of peace, with long life to all people, for the glory of Jehovah. To his Etherian gods and goddesses, Jehovah said, as you have founded arcs of light in my Etherian heavens, to determine the travel of my corporeal worlds, so shall my God of the earth inspire mortals to build lighthouses for man's ships that travel on the oceans, and those who travel in the ships. And those on the land shall know when a ship nears the port, even as you see my traveling earth approaching the place of Cosmin. For this shall be an illustration to mortals, that I have appointed cycles of times and dawns of times, with gods and goddesses to superintend my creations in tenderness and love, lest by chance man becomes despondent, saying, alas, Jehovah did not provide in wisdom commensurate with the magnificence of his creations. Behold, the time draws near when the nations of the earth shall course around the whole earth in ships, crossing the seas and oceans to all the places I created.
Yes, yes, a moment of silence for that one, boy. You know what I mean? Hard right there. That's one of the hardest goddamn Owaski songs so far. What's the word, family? What we looking like? Give me a one in the chat if you can hear me clearly. Give me a one in the chat if you can hear me clearly. You know how we do. It's a blood clot vibes.
So y'all want to say that the brother won, y'all can say what you want to. Y'all voted the way y'all voted. I ain't hurt.
King Selah Shalom, another victory. Hail me the king, cause that's what it tend to be. War child got crushed, I took him out his misery. Swing swords cut his vocal cords quite sufficiently. Zion under my feet met his defeat instantly. Trying to compete, run a retreat before you mention me. In the Coliseum, I got eyes on my enemies. In mausoleums, I'ma leave them for coming centuries. Headshot fatal, couldn't recover from his injuries. Bloody gore, ligaments tore, did him vicious, gut him to the core. Give him some more, straight consistent, settle the score. Cause I'm for sure another victim. Cut through Zion like a knife, decapitate, take life. Put his head on the altar for the ultimate sacrifice. For years you've been living lies, following the myth in the sky. Greco-Roman theology through Ethiopian eyes. You just as blind as Christians who thinking Jesus is why. Truth in front your face and you seem they can't get it right. Jah Rastafari, not gonna save your life. Real killers move in silence, in the shadow at night. The sleeping giant awoke, you know it's been a while. Coming out of hibernation, hungry, thirsty on the prowl. When the conquering lion growl, it echoes about a mile. I'm the real god of war, this nigga just a war child. Sacrifice him to his god, now his soul's immortal. Walking through the valley of death on brimstone tile. Zion wanted smoke, got suffocated by poison clouds. If you can't take the heat, get the hell out the kitchen now. Standing on my square and I'm here to retain the crown. This debate Coliseum, I'm bringing the building down. 2 years ago we told you a new sheriff was in town. Battle of the holy books, bitch, we backed you niggas down.
Woo! Man, it's hot up in this place, man.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I ain't heard that little joint in a minute, boy. That joint going in. All right, what's the word? Sounded clear. Yeah, Melly. I seen that last night, yo. I seen that. He was talking to her. What's that? Jehovah the Holy Ghost. And he admit that he lost this debate. But it's crazy because when I acknowledge that what they was debating on, what was that, the Comforter or the Holy Ghost or whatever, the Comforter, it's like both of them was inconsistent. You know what I mean? The Holy Ghost is saying that he the Comforter. Then you got Zion Warchild saying Selassie I fits the Comforter. Yo, these niggas is lost. Ain't no Comforter, man. What y'all talking about the Comforter, man? Ain't no Comforter. It's only the Creator, nothing else. All this extra medium deities y'all be dealing with, the Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit. You know what I mean? You got to go through Jesus before the Creator. All that is nonsense, man. All that is nonsense, yo. First and foremost, your ancestors ain't writing none of that. We already exposed the composition of the Bible ain't have nothing to do with black people, especially the New Testament. So how y'all so gun-ho about the Bible and this blackity black attitude when you can't show no authorship of Bible? Jehovah ain't say nothing about no comforter. Where in the Old Testament they talking about a comforter? When did Moses talking about a comforter? When did it become important to worry about the middleman and not the creator? You know what I mean? So black genocide before and after the European Arabs, because I'm still hearing a lot of talk about this colonization, about the Europeans, about, you know what I mean, all this nonsense, man. What people got to realize is that tribal warfare been going on since the beginning of time. Even according to your text, it shows that beef been jumping off. It's been a back and forth with hatred and jealousy, anger, bloodshed. Cain and Abel, perfect example. That's some of the earliest human beings supposed to be on the planet based off the narrative of the story. And according to black people, that's supposed to be black people. Ain't no white people around yet. So Cain and Abel is two black people. Cain hated Abel. He killed him. That's black on black crime, genocide. Before any Europeans, before any Arabs, for those who take that story as to be blackity black. And if you want to go with the Kemetic story, you got Horus and Seth. They beefing, they brothers. You know what I mean? Whether it's the story's allegory, whether it's literal, however you want to take it. Nonetheless, the fact that you showing black on black crime, tribal warfare, brother on brother hate. And there you have it. You got Kemet talking about it in this origin, and you got the Bible talking about it in this origin. So how can we be so gun-ho about the European when the root of your establishment, of your theology, is based off brother hating brother, Cain and Abel, Horus and Seth? And if you want to get some historical facts, you know what I mean? We hit them with that Narma. Show you something, yo. Hit him with that Narma Palace, son. So now, right? Look at that. Now, listen, we know everything come out of Kemet. So when we go to Kemet, they always talk about the 42 laws of Ma'at, the divine this and the divine that. But guess what? Ain't no blackity black nigga brought that to the forefront. The Europeans brought and gave you the divine principles of Ma'at. Our ancestors wrote it on the wall 1,000 years ago, and whoever wrote it back then knows the answer to those things. What we got today is something totally made up. We don't even know if this is true or not, because the ancestors who wrote the laws of Ma'at is not here to speak upon it. Not only that, when we go, let's see who would have been responsible for the laws of Ma'at. Let's go up. Now look, Samuel Birch, him. You wouldn't know nothing about no Ma'at if it wasn't for him. Look at that. In 1867, Samuel Birch of the British Museum published the first extensive English translation of the Papyrus of Nebseni. See that? This white boy interpreted this for you. See that? He is the one who came and looked at the walls of your ancestors and gave you the Ma'atian laws. The work of E.A. Wallace Budge, Birch's successor. See, these Europeans have successors to their work. Where is the black man's successor during the mid-18, 17, 16, coming on down prior to the Europeans touching this? Where is the black man doing the works that Samuel Birch is doing in the 1800s? Where is the black man in the 1800s in the continent of Africa doing the work? Redefining our ancestors, not the Europeans. So now it says, look, including both his hieroglyphic edition and his English translation of the Papyrus of Enna. The assessors of Ma'at are the 42 deities listed in the Papyrus of Nebseni, to whom the deceased makes the negative confessions in the Papyrus of Eni. 42 negative confessions founded in the Papyrus of Eni. So he, Samuel Birch, cracked the code of the 42 laws of Ma'at. Not a Bantu Negro from the Congo. He gave you this. So now when we look at the Lord, the divine, you know how to, yes, brother, prosperity, the divine laws of Ma'at. Yes, brothers and sisters. Man, stop it. Stop it. He gave you that. He gave you Ma'at. So when you look at Ma'at and it says, I have not committed sin. I have not committed robbery with violence. I have not stolen. He gave you that interpretation. Prior to the 1800s, nigga, nobody was talking about no Ma'at. It wasn't even broken down yet. See that? Now, this is the judgment hall of Ma'at, right? So there is no Arabs during this time, right? There is no Europeans running the show during this time. During this time, it's blackity black niggas running the show. So it's blackity black brothers and blackity black sisters that are being weighed on the scale of Ma'at. So if the blackity black brothers and sisters are not weighed on the scale of Ma'at, you will be devoured by the Amit, right? This is black genocide before the Europeans. Why I say black genocide? Because you have to, in order to be one with the Tsar over here, you have to pass the judgment hall. You got to pass the judges. You got to be balanced on the scale of Ma'at, and then you get to go to heaven in Christian terms. To make it to Osiris right over here is to make it to heaven, to be one with God, to be one with Jesus in the kingdom. It's the same concept, but in ancient times, Osiris was your God and Osiris was your Jesus. Same concept. He's sitting on the throne. God sits on the throne. This is where the Christians, the Hebrews, got the concept of a God sitting on a throne. Because remember, Israel spent 400 years in Egypt, so they would have had an idea of this concept of God sitting on the throne, Osiris being that God. So now, this spell describes the weighing of the heart, judgment ritual. The deceased is led by Anubis into the presence of Osar. This would be like the presence of God or the presence of Jesus for those who believe Jesus is God. And they'll make a negative confession saying that he is innocent of a list of 42 crimes in front of 42 judges. Now, keep in mind it says, look, he has to be innocent of 42 crimes. Now, when we go through these crimes that's supposed to be committed, we're going to see a lot of these pharaohs is guilty of these crimes. Now, his heart is then weighed against a feather, representing truth, justice, and the goddess Ma'at. But who gave you that? Who told you that the heart represents a feather? Who told you that this is the truth, justice of Ma'at? You know who told you that? Samuel Birch and his successor, Budge. Ain't no blackity black niggas gave you this. The Europeans gave you your concept of modern day Egyptology that you hold daily to. You brothers wouldn't know nothing about Ma'at if it wasn't for him. Now, look what it states here. If he is innocent, he is led to Osiris, which would be equivalent to God or Jesus. A demon called Amu, the devourer, stands by to eat the heart of the guilty. Now, who told you that? This demon, this Amu, is the devourer. Who told you that? Who interpreted this to let you know that, okay, this is a demon? Who told you that? Unless the person who wrote this script didn't interpret it for you, we could be misleading ourselves. We done created a whole new narrative of something that the ancestors probably wouldn't even accept today. But let's say this is true. Let's go with the narrative and say that this is true. There is a demon waiting for you. Now, the fields of reeds or the fields of rush, right, was the Egyptian afterlife, an ideal vision of one's life on earth as the field of rush. So the Egyptians believe in an afterlife, right? Because a lot of these modern day Cometians or Kemetic or the Black conscious community don't want to deal with the afterlife. They so physical and deal with the tangible that they have no understanding of the life after death. Just because they can't see it, touch it, or hear, or, man, come on. You know how childish that is? You know how long this damn planet been birthing people? You know, we live in a galaxy that has no beginning and ending, in a vault, that have creation, UFOs, flying saucers all throughout the sky. You can see it, it's documented. And you got the nerve to think that there's not life after death? You can look at the caterpillar. Come on, let's look at the basics examples. Now look at the caterpillar. You're trying to tell me that a goddamn caterpillar can demonstrate the life after death, right? Here's the cycle. They go to caterpillar, right? They go to egg. They go to caterpillar. The caterpillar represents physical man on the earth. The chrysalis represents death. Right here when he's in the cocoon, that's death. The reemergence, the resurrection after death, represents the butterfly. And now the butterfly could fly, represents spirituality, a symbol of flight, where you're not bound like the caterpillar to the physical plane. Now you can move around in the atmospheric plane. You're moving around. The butterfly and the caterpillar shows an example of the life, death, and resurrection right before your face in nature. But you don't believe that there's life after death. How foolish of you to think that. Your ancestors believed it. Your ancestors believed it because they showed it right here in the process. The fields of reeds was the Egyptian afterlife. There's nothing else to talk about. There is an afterlife according to the Egyptians. And this is the process right here in order to get to where you need to get to. Demon. Yup, that's the Ammon. So now, all right. So there go you, blackity black. Right? That's you right there. But wait a minute. What happens if your behavior was like this here? Look, wait a minute. Let's say this is an armor. They go normal, right? They go normal. So let's say that Narmer is represented as Hanifa, right? So that's Narmer. So this is the life of Narmer. He out here killing people, slaughtering cats. So now Narmer dies, right? Now he's with Anpu in the afterlife. So this is the spirit of Narmer. I'm showing you something. So this is the spirit of Narmer after living a life of destruction, crime, and death. Now we remember that in order to pass, you got to be innocent of the crimes, right? What does it say right here? Saying that he is innocent of a list of 42 crimes in front of the 42 judges. So here's Narmer right here. They go to 42 judges. Here go Narmer at the top. He's doing his confession, right? Here's Narmer on the left. They go to judges. And he got to go through these judges to make sure he's clean of the crime. But remember, Narmer is out here doing this. He's committing crime. You have to be innocent of crime in order to be one with Osiris. But here we have Narmer committing the crimes that which in return will make his heart suitable for the Yamit. The demon making his heart suitable for the Yamit. So now, they go Narmer being carried in with Anpu. Anpu looking like, yo, bro, you done messed up, bro. I told you not to be out there slaughtering people. Now you got to goddamn deal with the judges. You ain't innocent. So that's Anpu down there. There he go getting judged. They go Narmer to the left. Now all the judges is reading his what? Crimes. So Narmer got to confess that he is not innocent of crimes. He got to confess that, yeah, I grabbed this one dude by the head. I had a club in my hand and I popped him, knocked him over. Then I had 10 people over here bound and I chopped their heads off. That's what he got to confess to the judges because that's what he did on earth. See, ain't nobody talking about, Kemet don't want to talk about the real deal here. They want to romanticize Kemet, but they don't want to talk about the physical behavior of the pharaohs and the Egyptians and lining it up with the laws of Ma'at to see if the pharaohs and the Egyptians are consistent with the lifestyle of living up to Ma'at. And what we're going to see is that they not. Jabari don't talk about this. I'll tear Jabari up in a debate on this topic, dealing with anything with Kemet. Because he don't study the literature. He just looks at the walls and fantasizes and creates his own narrative. But these Europeans like Samuel Birch, they put in the hard work to even give you a concept of your modern-day Egypt. You wouldn't even be saying Ma'at in the 42 Confessions if it wasn't for Samuel Birch, who, what? was the first, gave you the first extensive English translation of the Papyrus of Nebseni. You wouldn't even be reading this right now if it wasn't for this European that you claim to hate so much. So, Narmer, being judged by the 42 judges, is not innocent. He is guilty of the crimes committed. And if you're guilty of the crimes committed, what happens? They go to big homie right there. They go Anpu, judging the heart of Narmer. Narmer is not innocent. His heart is heavier than the leaf, so it is unbalanced. And when your heart is unbalanced, you're going to get a visit by the demon god, the Amit. You're going to get a visit by the Amit. They go to Amit. See that? But they have the nerve to talk about Owaspi and talking about Osiris and Thor, which are just names in the book. But here we have depictions of what's supposed to be the devourer of the soul if you're not balanced on the scale of Ma'at. This is fairy tale. This is cartoon at its finest. This is the first cartoon ever recorded. This is made up. This don't even make sense. You had to live in Egypt during that time to even understand what they're even trying to convey here. You got an alligator head with a goddamn lion's upper body and a hippopotamus lower body. What are we talking about here? Make this make sense. There is nothing in nature that is natural to represent this. This is something that somebody made up. Y'all want to talk about me smoking the bud? This nigga had to been on some crack, some cocaine. You know they found cocaine in the Egyptians. Let me see if I can pull that up. Cocaine's in the Egyptians. Let me see if they still had that. Look what it say. Traces of cocaine and nicotine were found in ancient Egyptian mummies. Yes, you would have to be on cocaine to produce something like this. Who is just going to take a pen and paper or a damn chisel and start chiseling the wall something like this out the blue? Where they do that at? Nigga, you had to been on that goddamn sherm, that cocoa, in order to produce something like this. If I sit right now with a pen and paper to draw something, I'm not thinking of drawing nothing like this. Where, draw something in nature, you know what I mean? Draw a man, a strong figure hero, He-Man, Wonder Woman, something in the confines of reality. This don't even make sense. This is a fairy tale. This is a cartoon. This idea has no place in nature. Huh? So it has been proven that these niggas are on that cocoa leaf. Traces of cocaine were found in ancient Egyptian mummies in a controversial 1992 study sparking theories of pre-Columbian trans-ocean trade through many experts attribute the findings to contaminations or alternative plant sources. It's a controversial. The 1992 forensic toxicology doctor Svelta Banova announced a startling discovery: the hair, bone, and tissues of several ancient Egyptian mummies, including that of priestess named Henut Taul, contain detectable amounts of cocaine. Huh? Muffin Hush. Look at that. You got a priestess, a female priest, on that cocoa leaf, dipping a hand in that cocaine. Y'all better leave me alone. Cocaine sniffer. This is what they doing. That's it right there. That's what the priest is doing right there. That's what the Egyptians was doing. What did it say? Including that of a priestess named Hinut contained detectable amounts of cocaine. Nigga, they was on that coca leaf. They over there getting high off that cocaine. That's the only way you could produce something like this in your mind. The Amit. Y'all really want to have this discussion? Y'all want to talk about the Owaspy? Y'all want to talk about the dentist? You niggas is doing cocaine. Look at that. You getting your note. That's what Narmer over there doing. For you to sit there and tie up 10 people and cut their heads off, you gotta be on that cocoa leaf, nigga. If you from the hood, and if you ever see niggas behave when they on that cocaine and that heroin and that crack, they will do something like this to your ass. A nigga on crack will do this to your ass. He will crack your ass. He will chop your head off. Yeah, go to the hood the best with a crackhead, nigga. Strung off crack and see what he'll do to your ass. Huh? The Egyptians got cocaine in their blood. Historical timeline. These plants were believed to be unknown outside of the Americas until after Christopher Columbus' voyage in the late 15th century, whereas the mummies were dated to between 1050 BC, 1070 BC, and 395 BC. So these cocaine Egyptians was during the ending of the Middle Kingdom, the ending of the New Kingdom. Let's see what time the New Kingdom ended. Look, the New Kingdom of Egypt is from 1070 to 1069. 1069. Right there, that time, they was on that cocoa leaf. And there was a lot of trade going on around the New Kingdom. A lot of trade was going on. And 395, 395, that's when the goddamn Macedonians came into play. And prior to the Macedonians, the Persians was in charge. So after, if I'm not mistaken, the fall of the New Kingdom, the Persians took over until the Greeks came in. So if the Persians came in, the Persians coming from Persia. You know that cocaine come out of goddamn India. No, that's the heroin. That's the poppy. That's the heroin and shit. But nonetheless, these niggas is drug addicts. Y'all want to talk about niggas smoking weed, talk about burning little nigga. These niggas is on coke, bruh. That's what they doing. They taking that goddamn papyrus leaf, roll it up, and snort that coke. Huh? Evidence of ancient trade. Some theorists suggest that findings are strong bioevidence for regular, previous unknown transatlantic contact and trade routes between ancient Egypt and the Americas long before Columbus. Experimental archaeologists have even attempted to prove ancient people had the sailing technology to make such voyages. Yo, son, the niggas on that coke, son. Yo, let me get a 3.5 of that cocoa. Yeah, so let's stop playing games. If you're gonna do that, there it is. Look at that. Look at that. Don't let me find out that's the dosage of coke them niggas was taking. Huh? Look, they got Osiris name right there. Osiris got these niggas on that cocoa. Oh, man. But nonetheless, narcotics and historic collections. I told a small white lie in my last blog, as there was actually a third reason I noticed the 7 small cylinder bronze measures in the Petrol Museum. It was the reason they first caught my eye. Their museum label described them as being opium measures. These niggas measuring coke, heroin. Let me find out these niggas on that wrong too. We know that the Egyptians consumed wine because we are able to test archaeological artifacts that could have contained wine for its presence. The scientific technology techniques used is actually the same as what I use in my PhD research looking at the decay of plastic. So he's saying this is possibly used for opium right here, yo. We take that opium, then they lay it on the table and do this. Yeah, let me get that, son. Let me get that. Yeah, son. So now, in order for Narma to be doing this, he probably was on that cocoa leaf. So now, coming back to the Amit, because I don't know what's going on in ancient Egypt for these niggas to be doing all this. So this is the guy. This is the equivalent of Satan. You know, at least in the Bible, Satan is a man. You know what I'm saying? He's an angel. An angel ain't nothing but a man. God is a man, angels are men. But this, what is this? We can't classify this as a man. We can't classify this as a creature of nature. So they go Osiris. There's God. That's Osiris sitting on the throne. Right? Utterance 213. O Eunice, you have not gone dead. You have gone alive to sit on the throne of Osiris. So here we have an utterance where they're talking about sitting on the throne of Osiris. So Osiris is not no goddamn vegetation. He's a goddamn deity. Let's stop playing around. Because if he's a vegetation, if he's an aspect of nature, and they say, the green on him represents vegetation. Well, what vegetation got to do with sitting on a throne? The only vegetation you see growing over throne is wild, untamed bushes. This is vegetation growing over a chair. Is this what they're trying to say Osiris represents? They say he represents vegetation, right? So are you telling me this is Osiris? There is vegetation sitting in a chair. This would be the aspect of nature to represent Osiris if we're going to say that Osiris represents vegetation. This is Osiris sitting on a throne. They say Osiris the green represents vegetation. Well, here is green vegetation growing on a chair. That's real. I ain't making that up. If you say Osiris represents vegetation, let me see if they say that. Does Osiris represent vegetation? Look what it states, family. Yes. Osiris represents vegetation in ancient Egypt. Well, there go Osiris sitting his ass on the throne, on a chair, represented as vegetation. Come on, man. See that? That's crazy. Look at that. Ooh. Osiris on the square, representing green vegetation, sitting on. So you got green vegetation representing Osiris sitting in a chair. And here you have, where is it? Green vegetation representing Osiris covering a chair. This is Osiris represented in nature as a chair covered with vegetation. See that? They go Osiris, y'all. Let me come back up. This is Osiris right here. Right there. This is the representation of Osiris, green vegetation. Yes, Osiris represents vegetation in ancient Egyptian religion, symbolizing the cycle of growth, decay, and resurrection, all which represents this chair. Growth, decay. Oh, man, yo, this is crazy, yo. You ain't never hear these niggas talking about Osiris sitting on the throne, representing vegetation. But here go vegetation, they go to throne. The throne or the seat just represents authority. One who's in charge, right? So who's in charge? Vegetation is in charge of this seat. They're taking over, growing, decaying. Oh man. Yes, Osiris represents vegetation in ancient Egyptian religion, symbolizing the cycle of growth, decay, and resurrection as a god of agriculture and fertility. His green skin symbolizes lush, green, growing plant life, while his death and rebirth myth directly parallels the annual planting, harvesting, the Nile flooding cycle. So here we have Osiris representing green vegetation, although they got him sitting on the throne, and we don't know where in nature there's a man sitting on the throne represents vegetation until we found this. We found Osiris. We found Osiris in nature sitting on the throne as vegetation. That's how you break it down. That's how you turn the mythos into literalism. So, moving on. We see that Osiris is on the throne. When you look at the glyph for the throne, it's Q1U plus 1328288. It says seat, throne, seat, place, Wajid, Osiris. So now we have here, now keep in mind, this is called Black Genocide before Europeans and Arabs. So this is before the Europeans, and we've shown you how Black people are going into the afterlife with the crimes committed from their works, such as Narmer. There's a lot of people represented with Narmer probably out here killing people. So you got genocide among Black people, and then their spirits are going to this creature right here, the Ammon. So the Egyptians were the first to go to hell. The Egyptians were the first to experience hell, or the Amit, because Narmer, disregarding the laws of Ma'at, who is not innocent of the 42 crimes, is going to be devoured by the Amit. This is the first nigga in hell. The first nigga in hell in recorded history is Narmer. If you're gonna, play the game. So let's break this down. Here you see Anpu weighing the heart on the scales of Ma'at, while Tahuti writes the deeds of the individual. The Ammon is there to devour the heart if it's unbalanced on the scale of Ma'at. So we already know that Narmer heart is not balanced on the scale, so the Ammon is going to devour the heart of Narmer. Now, coming back to the Narmer palette, there you got Narmer showing you his deceptful works, his war tactics, killing his own brother. There is no European here. There is no Arab here. This is Narmer. Now, we wouldn't know nothing about the Narmer palette if it wasn't for this guy. Let's go to the Narmer palette. You'll see all this black me black talk, and none of you niggas discovered none of these things. Your whole rewrite of ancient Egyptians is based off the shoulders of these Europeans who gave it to you. Now, when we look at the Narmer palette, James Edwin, he's the one who discovered the Narmer palette. You wouldn't know nothing about the Narmer palette if it wasn't for this European right here. Ain't no black man discovered this. If John Henry Clark, Dr. Ben talked about the Narmer palette, it's credited back to this European here. They wouldn't even have that conversation if this European here ain't discovered the Narmer palette. So this European discovering the Narmer palette is bearing witness to black on black crime. Look at that. Y'all always want to talk about the Europeans and the colonizer. Yo, they did this to us. They did that to us. When the European, and specifically this guy, where he at? I just had him right here. James Edwin. When he discovered the Narmer palette, he bared witness to black on black crime. He know that wasn't his people. Huh? The European looking at the niggas like, all right, well, this is before our time. But look, the niggas is fighting each other. The niggas been killing niggas. Tribal war been going on before the European. And when the European came on the scene, and after the European and Arabs came on the scene, niggas been killing niggas. Say nothing new. Say nothing new. That's who gave you your Narmer palette. And in return, what do we see? Brother killing brother. What do we see Narmer doing? Killing his brother. You know why he killing his brother? Because he high off that cocoa. He hitting that cocoa. Now the priestess was hitting the cocoa, getting high. You know what I mean? The priestess was getting it in. The priest's name was, let me see if we can pull her up. Uh-oh. Lucky we ain't got no picture of her, but that's her. Hanitu was an ancient Egyptian priestess during the 21st dynasty who remains were mummified. She is mainly known for being of the so-called cocaine mummies. Yo, look at that. Cocaine mummies. Good night. Do we have a depiction of these cocaine mummies? Let's see. Damn, boy. Look at them cocaine mummies right there. Yo, that's crazy. So, girl, he knew as a cocaine mummy, yo. She was tapping in. She was doing that. You know what I mean? She was dipping her nose. She was getting high and all that. I mean, little to nothing is known about her life. She was a priestess and chantress in the temple of Amun at Thebes. And after her death, her body was embalmed and buried in the Dinra el Bahara, how you pronounce that, necropolis. After the discovery of her tomb, her mummy became a property of the king Bavaria, who later donated it to the, how do you pronounce that? Her coffin, once located at the National Archaeological Museum, is now in Monchitu, wherever that is. But, so, nonetheless, yo, they talking about they got cocaine in their system. So, if Narmer running around with cocaine in the system, more likely Narmer running around, you know, doing that nonsense. Now, here's where Narmer falls on his sword. Here is where all you Egyptian pharaohs fall on your sword. Every last one of them. Laws broken by Narmer. The laws of Ma'at broken by Narmer. Now, keep in mind, you remember, if the laws are broken, you're going to be paid a visit by the Amen. Right there. That's Satan for you Egyptians. Now, in the laws of Ma'at, it says, I have not slain a man or woman. What is Narmer doing? What Narmer doing? Let me get it. He's slaying a man or woman. He's slaying. He's killing. So that's one strike against him. He's not innocent. I have not terrorized anyone. He's guilty of that. So here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just 5 I just alluded to that Narmer broke. So his heart cannot be balanced on the scale of Ma'at if he got blood on his hand. I have not slain a man or woman. I have not terrorized anyone. I have not behaved with violence. I have not caused disruption of peace. I have not worked evil. All those Narmer did. Narmer did all those things. Now look at Haor. This is another pharaoh. Look at this. This is Haor. He's another pharaoh. Hor-Ah. Hor-Ah. Hold tight. Right here. All right. Look what he states. Hor-Ah is considered the second pharaoh of the first dynasty. He's the second dude. Narmer the first, he the second. Now look what he doing. Look, he got somebody bound. Look at these. These are bound people. Regardless of what's going on, they're bound. You can say whatever you want. Oh, these are the Asiatics that came in you whatever. I don't care what it's about. They're bound. Is this the laws of Ma'at, what you see right here? Coming from the second pharaoh? Look what this say. I have not committed a robbery with violence. It looks like you robbed these people because you got them bound. I have not terrorized anyone. Obviously, these people are terrorized because they are bound and captive. I have not caused disruption of peace. Obviously, these people are disruptive of peace because they are bound, even if they're prisoners of war. They still fall short of the laws of Ma'at. You got Snow Fruit. Snow. Look at his name. Snow Fruit. You know why he called his name Snow? Because he was on that cocoa leaf. He was on that snow. Yo, son, I'm going to name my son Snow Fruit. So that cocoa leaf. Woo. I need some more of that Coke, son. I'm going to call my name Snow. Snow Fruit. Snow Fruit. So Snow Fruit, that's the Palmer Stone. And on the Palmer Stone, which is a primary source, the interpretation reads, hacking up the land of the Negro, bringing 7,000 living prisoners, 200,000 large and small cattle. This is on the glyph. This is on the stela. Hacking up the lands of the Negroes. He's hacking, chopping niggas, killing niggas. Right? Bringing 7,000 prisoners. Here go prisoners right here. All this is pre-dynastic Egypt. Long before the Europeans, long before the Arabs, black on black men was committing crime against his own people. Disregarding the laws of Ma'at. Ain't none of these niggas in heaven with Osiris. Osiris by himself, you know. Everybody done broke the laws of Osiris. Now here we have the laws of Ma'at, which he broke next to him. It says, hacking up the land of the Negroes, bringing 7,000 living prisoners, 200,000 large and small cattle. Now, there were the laws of Ma'at, which he broke. I have not stolen any land, right? I have not terrorized anyone. I have not behaved with violence. I have not caused disruption of peace. I have not destroyed property belonging to goddesses. So he broke all those laws right there. And the proof of that is on the Palmer Stone. Then you got the campaign of Pepi, which he conquered Canaan during the 3rd millennium BC. This is the autograph of Weena, the elder. See that? And look what this says. This is on the autograph. This army returned in peace after it had destroyed the land of the sand dwellers. Is that Ma'at? This army returned in peace after it had flattened the land of the sand dwellers. Is that Ma'at? This army returned in peace after it had torn down its forts. Disruption of peace. This army returned in peace after it had cut down its figs and its vines. This army returned in peace after it threw fire amongst all its troops. This army returned in peace after it killed its troops there in many 10,000s. Look at the blood on Pepi's head. Long before the Europeans, long before the Arabs, black on black crime, genocide amongst their own people. The army returned in peace after it brought from its troops there a great number of what? Prisoners of war, which you see right here. an example of prisoners of war bound in chains or ropes, right? All this taking place within the 3rd millennium BC. And these are the laws that Pepe broke. I have not slain a man or woman. We just read that he killed. I have not terrorized anyone. We just read that he did. I have not been exclusively angry, which we show you got to be angry as hell to be killing people. I have not behaved with violence. You killed men. You behaved with violence. The sand dollars, you killed them. I have not caused disruption of peace. You tore down the forts of the sand dwellers. I have not worked evil. You bound into these people as prisoners, which is evil. So here you have another Egyptian pharaoh bound in hell with the Amit. Bound with the Amit. That's your Satan, that's your devil, that's your Lucifer, that's your whatever you want to call him in ancient Egypt. That's the devourer of the souls of men. If you wasn't balanced on the scale of Ma'at, and we just showed couple pharaohs that are not balanced on the scale of Ma'at, so their heart is being devoured by the Amit, which is the first concept of niggas in hell. The black man is in hell because black on black crime. And then when we go into the Bible, Genesis chapter 37 with the brothers of Joseph, they hated his brother. Right? Now this is for you Israelites. Before the European, Genesis 37, verse 4. And when his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, they hated him and could not speak peaceably unto him. This is the 11 brothers, the patriarchs of the 12 tribes, hating their brother Joseph. This is not hate coming from the Europeans. This is not hate coming from the Arabs. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 17 says, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Here we have the 11 brothers hating Joseph in their heart, breaking their own laws. Verse 5, and Joseph dreamed the dream and told it to his brethren, and they hated him yet more. This is Joseph they hating on. Brother. And they hated him yet more for his dreams and for his words. And his brothers envied him, but his father observed the same. See that? How are you going to talk about the white man, the Arab, and the patriarchs to the chosen? The patriarchs, the forefathers of the 12 tribes, are hating their brother Joseph. So the DNA, the seed in those 11 brothers are harboring hate. So when they have their offsprings and those 12 tribes come out, they're going to be harvesting hate just like their goddamn father did for their brother. You know what I mean? Let's run some rhythm still. Some easy work, man. Easy work. Quick little lesson. Yes, family. See the family chiming in. Pretty gang. What's the word? I see you, family. Be in love with the cocoa. That's right. Make sure y'all like the videos. Sure. We just vibing coming out. All we do. Book of Wars Against Jehovah, chapter 53:1, Owaspi Bible. It says, look, Jehovah has said, I created man blank as to good and evil, and gave him liberty. And I gave liberty also to the spirits of the dead. But these spirits set themselves up as gods, Elohims, and to glorify themselves use mortal in their own way. For they have found that mortals could be turned to good or evil, to war or peace, to virtue or to lust, according to the inspiration of the angels watching over them. This one verse says a lot. This one verse is letting you know that when you were created, you came into this world blank, not knowing good, not knowing evil. And then you have liberty to choose either good or evil, right? And then the Creator was saying this same liberty is given to the spirits of the dead, our ancestors. But then you have those who take advantage and set themselves up as gods. Now, when they set themselves up as gods, they're convincing you that they are the creator. So when we go back to the Bible and we talk about God of the Bible is one of these spirits who have liberty to choose good or evil and can control the flock in that way, right? Look what it states. To glorify themselves, to glorify themselves, use mortals in their own way. So when you talk about the God of Israel and you talk about the covenant you have with God, these are one of these spirits, because remember, they have liberty. They can do what they want. They came to you, convince you that this spirit is the God, the Most High, and made a contract or a covenant with you. Now you are bound to this God, the God of Israel, and your God is telling you to acknowledge no other gods. That's the spirit telling you and controlling you. And I'm telling you that, yo, I don't want you worshiping him over there. And I don't want you worshiping him over there. You only acknowledge me. That's a false God. So the Owaspi is showing you that the Creator is letting you know that when man came into the world, man and woman came into the world, they came in blank knowing good and evil. Depending on the guide, the parenting, they could persuade you to good or they could persuade you to evil. In the same way your parents can persuade you to good or evil, the same way your friend can persuade you to good or evil, the same way gang members could persuade you to good or evil, is the same way when you cross over in spirit, there are others who could persuade you to good or evil in the spirit world. And then you have those who set themselves up as gods. See that? God is an angel. We all know this. Jehovah said, he who is chief of a government on earth shall be called king, but he who is chief of my heavenly government shall be called God. So God is equivalent of one who rules the government. Book of Discipline 117, as a kingdom on earth has a king, and the king is nevertheless immortal. So in like manner is the heavenly place of your God, a kingdom of what? Angels. And the chief over them is God, an angel also. So here the Owaspi's letting you know that these gods are angels, one-time men, ruling in heavenly governments, heavenly kingdoms, having the liberty to do so. There's a precept in the Bible to prove that your God is an angel. Exodus chapter 31, verse 18. He gave unto Moses, he meaning God, God gave unto Moses. And when he made an end of the communion, meaning God made an end of the communion with him upon Mount Sinai, because you remember Moses went to Mount Sinai to communicate with God, 2 tables of testimony, tables of stone, written with the what? Finger of God. So now, when we go to Acts chapter 7, verse 38, precept to Exodus 31:18, it states, this is he that was in the church in the wilderness with the angel which spoke to him in Mount Sinai, and with our fathers who received the lively oracles to give unto us. Now, here's the proof. The angel which spoke to him in Mount Sinai was God. God is an angel. Here is another verse 53. Who have received the law by the disposition of angels and were not kept. So we're proving that God is an angel. Right? And then Exodus 19:11 states, and be ready against the third day. For the third day, the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. So the Lord came down on Mount Sinai, and Acts 7:38 states, the angel which spoke to him in Mount Sinai, that was the Lord. So the Lord is an angel, God is an angel, proven in the Bible, also proven in the Owaspi. You know what I mean? Quick little session with that. But I'm about to crash up out of here, man. I got some things to do. I just want to hop on for a quick second, show face, come do a live with the gang. You know what I mean? And we up out of here, son. That's just how we do. You know how we do. Make sure to get your bidders, too. Make sure to get your bidders. You know, the season's changing. I'm seeing a lot of people starting to get sick. So you want to make sure to get your bidders. Stay healthy. Keep that immune system going. Don't be caught out there sick.
Bittersweet herbal. But the results are sweet. Bittersweetherbals.com.
Yes, family. Run the rhythm.
Bittersweet herbals. What it tastes is bitter, but the results are sweet. Bittersweetherbals.com.
Yes, family. Make sure to get your bidders. You know how we do. And once again, your boy Slash Shalom is up out of here. Till next time, family. So, ride.
Jehovah is as near this day as in the time of the ancients. Put yourself in order, becoming one with him. And no book is so easily read as his created universe. Inspiration comes less by books than by what Jehovah wrote. His worlds read him and his works. Frame your speech and your thoughts for him. He will answer you in your own behavior and in the happiness of your soul. Great wisdom cannot be attained in a day, nor purity and strength to overcome temptation, till the growth is from the foundation. The fool will say, the sacred books are no more than man of his own knowledge could write. Yet he has not wisely imitated the power of the words of your God. Let him do this well, and behold, he will also declare my words are from me. capable of receiving and comprehending the highest life, and that they shall no longer depend upon any priest, church, oracle, holy book, or upon consulting the spirits, and that their behavior may make the earth a place of peace, with long life to all people, for the glory of Jehovah. To his Etherian gods and goddesses, Jehovah said, as you have founded arcs of light in my Etherian heavens, to determine the travel of my corporeal worlds, so shall my God of the earth inspire mortals to build lighthouses for man's ships that travel on the oceans, and those who travel in the ships. And those on the land shall know when a ship nears the port, even as you see my traveling earth approaching the place of Cosmin. For this shall be an illustration to mortals, that I have appointed cycles of times and dawns of times, with gods and goddesses to superintend my creations in tenderness and love, lest by chance man becomes despondent, saying, alas, Jehovah did not provide in wisdom commensurate with the magnificence of his creations. Behold, the time draws near when the nations of the earth shall cross around the whole earth in ships, crossing the seas and oceans to all the places I created.